Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm glad to be the first one to say to you, good afternoon. People of God, waiting just for some people to jump on. Got some good stuff to share. Hope everyone's staying cool out there. Waiting for people to jump on. Waiting for people to jump on. Good sister Sandra, how are you? And Yvette, my little sisters, love you guys so much. Okay. Nook. Oh, Nook, you don't know how happy it makes me to see you doing what you're doing, man. Let's definitely connect. But here's the announcement today. So, as you know, we just finished up Samson. Had an amazing time looking at Samson. And then we had a Zoom group last night. Sylvie, what's up, my sister? We had a Zoom group last night, and now we've committed every Monday at 8 p.m. We will start having Zoom groups where we will discuss the character that we have just gone through in the Bible. So we just did Samson last night. We had, oh man, about 40 people, and for really not even promoting it hard, it was amazing. Then we created Zoom chat rooms, so the guys went off. We had a great talk about Samson's loneliness, about just what could have made things different in his life, and then the gals went off and spoke, and then we came back together. So every Monday at 8 p.m., look forward to the Zoom groups where we're just going to all be on board talking. It was amazing. It was amazing. So this is what we're going to do. I was going to teach today. I really wanted to do a piece on just community and brotherly love, and I do want to reserve that for another day. But what we're going to do is today we're going to take the day off. Today is just really just an announcement. But tomorrow we're starting the life of Jacob. And if you thought that the life of Samson was amazing, Jacob is probably my favorite person in the Old Testament. A little bit about Jacob's life. He's born with a twin brother. He is not favored by the father. He is the homebody with the mother. The father improperly favors Esau, the older son. Jacob is just, it means heel catcher, because when he was born, he had his hand on the heel of his older brother. You'll see this in Genesis 25. Starting at Genesis 25, really up until Genesis 32, you have the life of Jacob. Faith is living without scheming, basically. Faith is living without scheming. Jacob means schemer. That's what it really means. And what you see in this man's life is how God just, this guy is living. Are any of you just addicted to doing things your own way? You like the idea of relying on God. You like the idea of God being in your corner. You like the idea of God having full possession of you, but you are addicted to doing your own thing. Maybe from a young age, you had to take care of everything at home. No one believed in you. You had to go against the odds, when you were in your humanist bag, if you will. Are there any of you who are just plain addicted to doing things your own way? You're addicted to trying to figure out life on your own. You don't even know how to rely on God. You want to rely on God, you really do, but you just don't know how to rely on Him. By the time you're saying amen, you already have a plan. You already are going to fix it. A lot of people who go through a lot of life's challenges and make it through a lot of things or beat a lot of odds, what can happen is our heart starts really believing. The Bible says our hearts are wicked. Our hearts really believe that, yeah, God was there, but that we really pulled it off. And you could tell when we go into our day without praying. We can go into just calling, it's fourth and inches in the football game, and we can call a play, and we meant to pray, we just didn't. My point is, that is Jacob. He is a schemer. If he was in the A team, he would be Hannibal. You remember Hannibal at the end of the A team would always say, I love it when a plan comes together. That's who he is. But God takes this man and just in love wears him down and allows life to wear him down. Do any of you remember the movie The Horse Whisperer, when Robert Redford had to break in that horse that had become wild, and he's just lassoing one leg at a time until the horse is just, down to two legs, then the horse just has to lay down. That's what you see when you see God finally wrestling with Jacob. Jacob has a dysfunctional home. He goes 21 years without praying. 21. Here is a man who is called to be the father of all of the nation of Israel. 21 years he goes without a devotional life. He doesn't build one altar. No mention of him digging up any wells like Isaac. No mention of him building altars to God like Abraham. He's doing his own thing. He's got 4 different women. The women are competing with each other in Genesis. Really, that's Genesis 30, Genesis 31. They're competing with one another to see who can have more babies by Jacob. So they're giving him mandrakes, which are aphrodisiacs. Here's a man with this mighty calling on his life, and just trying to do things his own way. He's reduced to a man that women are just using as a sensual pawn to just have babies by. I mean, this is a dysfunctional family. But look, this is how the 12 tribes of Israel, look at how God brings beauty out of ashes, out of probably the most dysfunctional family in the Old Testament. Jacob, his 2 wives, and the 2 concubines, the most dysfunctional family, and the 12 tribes came out of all of that sensual, mandrake, aphrodisiac, weird love, So look, tomorrow we're going to come in with Genesis 25. We're going to look at Jacob's origin. Then we're going to look at how God wrestles with him in Genesis 32 and finally conquers him and teaches him how to cling to God. For those of us who just don't know how to hold on to God, God will teach us. And he knows how to wrestle with our independence. When you see that angel wrestling with Jacob in Genesis 32, what he's wrestling with is Jacob's scheming. He's wrestling with Jacob's independent streak. And he has to show Jacob how weak he is. Then Jacob goes from resisting to clinging. Maybe God's doing something in your life right now, and he's teaching you how to go from resisting to clinging. Jacob then says, I won't let you go until you bless me. And he changes his name to Israel. God sees in us what we're not yet, and he is making us what he's already declared us to be, right? He told Abraham, your name is Abraham, father of many nations, when Abraham still didn't even have a kid yet. Yeah, but then God does that. God sees us already, as more than conquerors, and now he's making us more than conquerors. So if you loved Samson, Jacob is going to just blow you away. And just God's grace when this man just continues to mess up. So look, tomorrow I'll start sharing more about it, but this is what I would ask you to do. Look in Isaiah when it says, fear not Jacob. You see throughout the rest of Israel's journey, throughout the rest of Israel's rebellion, God will always come in and call them Jacob. When the nation of Israel was doing well, God will call them Israel, because remember, he changed Jacob's name to Israel. But when Israel is acting like a rebellious nation, he'll call them Jacob again. But what's beautiful is when you see God say in Isaiah, fear not Jacob. Even when after we've learned our lessons, even after we've learned our big lessons, we've had this big life-changing encounter with God, even after that, we still go back to acting like a Jacob. We still go back to doing things our own way. We still go back to just not leaning on God, addicted to our own plans. And then God still comes and says, fear not, I will pour water upon him that is thirsty. Check that out. I believe it's Isaiah 44 or Isaiah 45. And just look at how God's not ashamed. God is not ashamed. Hebrews 2:10 says Jesus is not ashamed to call us his brothers. That's so deep. He's not ashamed. He's up in holy court. And when he sees us down here, he's not ashamed to say in front of all the holy angels, yeah, he's mine. That's my little brother. We got the same father, right? God says, fear not, O ye Jacob. So let's get into Jacob tomorrow. We're going to spend a few days. I would ask you to please read Genesis 25. I believe that's when the promise is made that Sarah will have the children, not Sarah, but Rebecca. Look at Genesis 27 when they're born, and look at Genesis 28 when Jacob lies to his father, steals the blessing, and he's out on the run, and God appears to him with Jacob's ladder, actually when Jacob is at his worst, when he is at his worst. So read Genesis 25, which is the origin of when the birth is announced. Read Genesis 27 when they are born, and then Genesis 28 when Jacob has his first encounter with God. And when God shows up, he's still trying to hustle a deal with him. You know, here God appears at Jacob's ladder, and Jacob basically says, okay, well, if you can do this for me, this for me, this for me, and this for me, then I'll be your God. Then you can be my God. And every one of us knows that deep inside of us, there is this hustler, this hard-headed, relentless hustler. And how can God work with that part of me, right? You know, there's a part of us that's just evil, and we know that part has to go. There's a part of us that's of God's spirit, and it's all, you know, God's spirit, it always does what's right. Then there's this part of our fallen nature that doesn't want to necessarily be a bad guy. It's just a born hustler, a born doing things the way you want to do it. What's God going to do with that part of me, that hard-headed, thick-skulled part, where even when I want to do the right thing, I'm still doing it my way. Let's look at how God works with this man Jacob, because if God can justify Jacob, he could justify anybody. And isn't it amazing? The very land of Israel today is named after this scheming hustler who God conquered with his love. Okay, so look, tomorrow let's get into the life of Jacob. Spread the word, be ready. We're going to dive in. I have found the deepest counsel from studying Jacob's life of anyone else I have studied in the Bible. He is my favorite person to study. So we're going to start looking at Jacob the hustler tomorrow. God bless you guys. Stay cool today. Noon, be there. Spread the word. Don't come in at 12:05. You're 5 minutes too late. Let's be there at noon. Let's get into Jacob. Let's have a ball. We should be weeping, clapping, rejoicing, kissing our Bible, and most of all, just being excited for God to just continue to conquer the knuckle-headed hustler schemer inside each of us, because he's got to do it. I can't do it. You can't do it. We can't do it. He's got to do it. All right, see you tomorrow. I love you guys. I can't wait. You can tell I can't wait. Let's do this. God bless you. See you tomorrow, noon. Spread the word. Salute.